What's good? It's your boy EB. Welcome back to Black Sheep to Go. Now, this was a interesting fight to me between Gilberto Ramirez and Joe Smith. And the interesting part to me was both of them are moving up to cruiserweight. I don't think this was quite cruiserweight. They did like some catchweight stuff. But anyway, they both moving up because Better Beef and Bivol are holding up the division. They both are doing nothing. Both of them guys beat these guys I'm speaking of. So it would make sense to move up. Now, what I really saw and what I really liked, I don't know if this is a pit stop for Ramirez, or is he going up like fully cruiserweight, or is he eyeing heavyweight? I don't know. But he took advantage of that high guard of Joe Smith. And then he really just ripped him with body shots, like a couple ones that I can remember when he did the 1-2-5 to the body. So, jab cross, little shovel uppercut to the body, Then he did that 1-1-3, and he kind of had Joe Smith literally on the back foot, and that weave body 3-4, and then when he jab out to get out, and then he come back in and hit him with just a crazy combination. He didn't waste his punches. That's what I really liked about what I saw from Ramirez. And he just made him look flat-footed, which Joe Smith is, and he just looked outmatched, He just basically cruised to his win, and every time Joe Smith would make any kind of increments forward, he would shut it down quickly, effectively, smother him with punches. He didn't make it a brawl, all of that. Now, if I'm being honest, now I feel like this was a pit stop for Joe Smith. I think he's going to heavyweight because the way he looked, he don't even look like he should be nothing but heavyweight, even when he fought Better Beef. And Better Beef beats everybody, but that's a caveat to this whole situation. He don't have the foot speed, and he likes to lug around, and he want to brawl. You got to go to heavyweight with that, because you can't be fighting these faster guys. 175, he did pretty good. He beat some top 5 guys, cool. But getting the championship and beating the elite shows you he can't really fight the elite. And then Joe Smith, I think he could get bigger than what he was when he walked in the ring, because I could swear he was at least over about maybe 220, 230, the way he looked. But this is not the weight class for him. That's just my honest opinion. Now, the other thing, I was just random thought, listening to podcasts. Somebody said something that made me really think about it. I really dug for the information. Now, Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. This is a weird fight to me. And I'm gonna be quoting some of what Daniel Cormier said on DC and RC. Now, it's very weird, because what they trying to do is, the UFC, they trying to build his name, Paddy Pimblett. They trying to build his name up off of the back of Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson lost 6 in a row. We all know the whole thing. He's past his prime. They really trying to get him out of here, and they trying to build up Pimblett off of his name, because when you're average fan, casual fan, see, oh, he beat Tony Ferguson, they not gonna think, oh, Tony Ferguson wasn't the same guy. People don't care about that. Most people, the people that don't understand, you know, fighting and primes and things like that to a degree. Because all people going to see, even when you speak of just a random thought, when you speak of Israel Adesanya, he beat Anderson Silva. Is that the same Anderson Silva? No, it's not the same Anderson Silva. But people look at the name. That's it. They don't look at when it was. That shit could have been yesterday. It don't matter to casuals. It don't. So what they trying to do is appeal to casuals more and gain this traction for him. And these some of my thoughts. They trying to appeal to the casual and gain this traction for Pimlet because really he lost his last fight. I can't even remember the guy's name, if I'm being honest. But he lost that last fight. He did. His wrestling is, it's not all that. He can do a little bit, but he's not that good on the ground. And if he loses, this is just gonna be some weird shit. So what do you do with Pimlet now? Like, he's just gonna be a mid-card guy? Or you just gonna see him on the fight nights? They put too much into him to really give up this quickly. Now, that was a pause, by the way. Now, yet again, I was on the internet looking around, and I'm kind of behind on the podcast situation. I got a lot of podcasts I listen to, and I got to listen to some of what Shakur Stevenson said about the Devin Haney situation. I saw some clips and everything. And the thing about Shakur Stevenson is when he look at his pay for a fight, and I call this the Marvin Hagler effect, by the way. When he look at his pay for a fight, is he's comparing skill for skill. And he in his heart, he thinks he's better, which he is better. But in his heart, he thinks he's better than his opponent. Guys are not taking that risk with you. This happened to the best of them. Bernard Hopkins, Demetrius Andrade, Benavidez. I can keep going. Even Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford, which is one of his guys he trains with. This happens to the best of them. Now, I know it's uncomfortable and I know that shit ain't right. You don't have a title right now, so Shakur don't have the leverage. That's how the guys are going to look at this. This is how the teams are going to look. This is how the networks are going to look because he is too good. One, he's very defensive sounded. Two, he don't get hit, which that falls into the defense category. Three, very fast. He will make a fool out of any fighter, and people know it. So, I hate to say this, but he's going to have to take a small payday to eventually get a big payday. And I don't think Shakur is really interested in that because, he kind of mentioned on Devin Haney ducking him. You can look at it, yeah, he probably is. But you can look at it the other way. Devin Haney fought 40 fights at 135 when he was fighting at 128 and coming up to 130 and all of that. When he was doing his career, 40 fights is a lot. That ain't matching. Now, eventually all these guys are going to move up at 135, 140, 147. That's how this shit works. Now, personally to me, I think he just may need to take that small pay cut and beat the fuck out of whoever steps in front of him, because he's not going to get the fights he won without the leverage, which is the belts. That's what guys mostly look at. And if he don't have any belts, they don't want to fight him, which may be good for their sake. But that was just a random thought I was just looking up and had. But I'll talk to y'all later.